And folks, I mean, they spell it out right here. The International Swine Flu Conference, it just took place a couple days ago. The little workshop ended on August 21st. Okay, they had their little conference, the 19th and 20th. It was on C-SPAN. If you saw that, you need to call in and tell me the highlights. But you know what it was. It's some bureaucratic sitting up there snickering, saying, we really got to do what we can do for these people. If it breaks out like this, who knows what could happen to the country? We could have a real pandemic. Ooh, the piggy flu's coming. We'll be back after this is the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas. Remember, go check out the websites, Infowars.com, and, of course, PrisonPlanet.tv.
Out to report in this morning's Washington Post that the Obama administration is considering implementing a new fall vaccination program against the flu, a plan that would require Americans to get not one, not two, but 3 flu shots. Dr. Nancy Snyderman is NBC's chief medical editor. Nancy, good morning.
Hi, Meredith.
Unprecedented this is. How would this work?
Well, here's the idea. On the first Saturday when we knew swine flu was an issue, the Centers for Disease Control held a conference, and we were already talking with those of us who listened in about how you're going to ramp up manufacturing this new vaccine on top of the old vaccine.
Because it takes a lot of time. It takes
right.
about 5 months or so.
And the decision was made, if we're going to get the normal flu vaccine to the general public in the fall, to hold it up while we figure out the swine flu was perhaps going to put the entire population at risk. So at that moment, the decision was made, we would go into normal flu production for the normal vaccine, like it is.
For seasonal flu.
Right, for seasonal flu. Figure out what the swine flu really is, and then perhaps tag team a second vaccine on top of it.
Okay, so that's why they didn't combine them into one shot, but why 2 additional shots for swine flu?
For the normal seasonal flu that you and I talk about every year, there's a herd immunity to some extent, so you only need 1 shot. The new strain we've never seen before, so that requires sort of thinking like when we give our babies or their first shot. You get your shot, it boosts up your immune system, and then you need a booster. So for the new H1N1 swine flu, for which there's no known immunity in our population, that requires 2 shots.
I would think because it's hard to get people to take the original.
As we know,
shot, right?
don't we? Since you don't get your flu shot in the fall.
No, I don't. Okay, fine. I might this year, though.
Good.
But now you're asking people to get 3. That's a tough sell.
Well, Meredith, I think you've hit the nail on the head. This is going to be a public relations, trust your government.
All right, let's stop it right here. Public relations 3. You notice it was require. And notice in the WHO level 6, it's mandatory, compulsory.
By the way, Bermas.
Yes, sir.
Here is the patent from 2007 originally, and they got it on March 5th, 2009. But they put the application in 2006, actually, and went through in 2007. Baxter for the swine flu vaccine.
Oh, isn't that just lovely? All right. And it's approved in March, right in the beginning of March, right after they sent it out in February. That's so weird. You know, they sent it out to 14 countries in February, the H5N1, the bird flu vaccine. Okay, they sent that one out, and it has live bird flu virus in it. Oh, kills ferrets. It doesn't make any news in the United States whatsoever. MSNBC does one small story on it, and it's totally and completely buried. Bloomberg reports on it, does 3 updates. No one picks it up. And these are the people that we give the swine flu contract to. Remember, it's not swine flu, it's 3 spots. One of them is H5N1 that's in this virus. And I suspect they probably would have said it was a bird flu epidemic had that not happened, and they didn't need to clean up their checks just a little bit. All right, International Swine Flu Conference. Let me show you how this works. Okay, they get everybody prepared. They bring in all these different organizations. Then they say, oh, by the way, we're launching the Continuity of Government program. COG, which is the shadow government. Say it with me, kids. The shadow government exists. It's not, it's not Sesame Street we're talking about here. We're talking about the people that make decisions without any repercussions, without any real legislation, without any input from we the people. Top leading and key decision makers of major companies, because we are in a corporatocracy, or I can't even pronounce it. We're really in a technopoly. But corporations, companies, it's all the same thing. Major government is them. They are the shadow government. They are the military-industrial complex. Are representing a broad range of industries. Major companies, broad range of industry. Very, very odd. This is about keeping us safe, right? Not about profits. We'll get to that in a moment. It's about profits as well. It's about putting us under martial law, putting us in fear, getting us sick, and making a huge profit while they do it. Pretty disgusting. Pretty disturbing. Pretty unbelievable if you don't know the facts. If you haven't watched the 1979 60 Minutes piece where they admit that the swine flu paralyzed and killed a bunch of people. Remember, it was blamed for Gillian's bear. It was just blamed. It didn't do it. It's so ridiculous. Let's see. They will meet. These large industries and major companies are going to meet with scientists, public health officials, law enforcers, first responders, and other experts to discuss pandemic prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery. Well, here is pandemic preparedness planning right here in the little WHO book. Oh, and this is an international conference. Oh, is the United Nations going to be there? You bet they are. The United Nations Coordinator for Avian and Human Influenza, Alex Thurman of the World Health Organization, let's see, and Dr. Wenging Zhang of the WHO Epidemic and Pandemic Alert and Response Team will be there. Or were there, I'm sorry. This already took place. What are they talking about? Well, topics will include, let's start it off the bat, mass fatality management planning. All right, we're getting ready for dead bodies, baby. Woo! For some flu. For some sniffles. For something you should be drinking ginger ale, having some chicken soup, and crackers over. Mass fatality management planning. Look, I've got like a dozen callers on the line. We're going to come back. We're going to take your calls, go over this document big time. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas.